Welcome to Evilive, the live media commentary show that answers the question, is not Gandalf ever going to find the halflings? Did I update that? Is that the exact same one? All right, let me throw one out there on the fly. Am I the only one that thought that eagle was going to eat old boy at the end of this episode? Subscribe to the channel because today we're reviewing Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Season 2, Episode 3, The Eagle and the Sceptre. That's right. Eagle and the Sceptre. Directed by Louise Hooper and Charlotte Brandstrom. Written by Helen Shang. Released August 29th as part of the whole first 3 batch. Initial thoughts of this episode are, how long am I going to continue watching this season? Because I'm not enjoying it. It's more like morbid curiosity at this point. I'm not like offended by it. It's just I'm not enjoying it. So why continue? Like, I know where it's going to go, Lord of the Rings. I'm more interested in where it came from in the source material than I am in the interpretation of the source material that's on screen. So that's my initial thoughts. All right, so here's the story. After his son Isildur is presumed dead in the eruption of Mount Doom, Elendil returns to Numenor with the blinded Queen Regent Muriel. This was a very strange thing. Whenever an actress or an actor has to pretend that they're blind, they just stare off into some random space. But if you've ever actually seen a blind person, their eyes are kind of like wonky because they can't see, and so the muscles in the eyes are not forcing them in any given logical direction. And so they're just sort of like wacky and weird. So why don't, if they want to be authentic, why don't they do some crazy googly eyes or something? I don't know. I'm just saying it's less strange seeing a normal blind person's eyes than it is seeing an actor just going, like, come on, you're shitting the bed. What the hell are you doing? So she ends up going back because she's going to be like crowned the queen. But a lot of people are pissed because she brought Numenor to Middle-earth and a lot of their sons and daughters died. So understandably, the people of the survivors of those family members and, children and husbands and wives are kind of pissed. And there's this whole power struggle going on in Numenor, which I actually, on a sort of a high level, I can appreciate, but it's a little too real world for me to really enjoy. You know what I mean? Like we live in this type of environment that's politically divisive and people are like start sniping each other behind their backs. And it's just, I don't know. There's so much of it in our real world. I don't really want to see it on screen. I want to fantasy shows to take me away from reality, not embed me further in it. And they might as well make, what's the dude's name? Pharazôn Trump. Because it's just that's the vibe I'm getting. So anyway, Pharazôn is the cousin of the Queen Regent. And he is soft vying for the throne. He's sort of being pushed there as well by his supporters. Because, how can you have a woman rule you? And on top of that, a blind woman, gasp. As if that halts their ability to lead? Because they have a vagina and they can't see? I don't know. Of course not. That has no bearing on anything. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. But that's how people think. Like it or not, it's true to form. And so, in any way, if you have someone that has your back politically and that you feel like you could leverage through their leadership to benefit you or your business or whatever, of course you're going to try to put them on the throne. That's what big business does in our politics. Why not in fantasy politics too? That's how humans act. There's a really great moment here where this survivor, the mother of a son who was killed over there, hauled off and smacked the Queen Regent. And everyone was all upset and they pulling the Queen Regent away so they can, I don't know, stab this woman or something. The Queen Regent's like, whoa, 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 whoa. And she just reaches out and feels her arm and she pulls her in and just gives her a hug. And I don't know if it's just if I was a kid watching this, I would be like, oh, this is so stupid. But as a grown ass man watching it, I'm just I think that's beautiful. There's nothing more important to arguably any human than having some semblance of being seen or understanding of their pain, right? That they're going through in any given moment. You find someone that will give you empathy or sympathy for your loss or your hardships, and you're going to eventually find someone that you trust because they care about you. Now, I don't think you should go around doing that personally, but I don't care that there are people that do that, and good for them. I don't care. I liked the scene, and I liked the queen doing that because that's her job. She's going to be sworn in as official queen anyway, supposedly. And so she has to show. Her job is to care for the people. Like, that's the sole job of a leader. And for her to physically hug this woman that just struck her and let her cry, and she cries herself. It was a beautiful scene that I really, really appreciated. I don't know if this is the show for that type of a scene, but I did like that part of it. I really did, now that I'm talking about it. I forgot all about it until I started talking about this. And then, of course, we see Isildur's horse, Beric. They're like, before they, get on the ships to go over to Numenor, everyone's trying to get the horse on the ship, but the horse won't. Because you know why? Animals are awesome. Because animals know their leaders and animals care. If you're a good human and you treat your animals well, they're going to care about you in turn. It's a reciprocal relationship of affection. It's just like I was talking about with the queen and that woman who hauled off and bitch slapped her. Like, if you reach out and touch someone emotionally, they will, whether it's a human or whether it's an animal, they're going to recognize that and they're going to reciprocate in that in some cases. In other cases, they'll just eat you because you think a wolf should be a friend. You're an idiot. But in the case of, or like a lion or a bear, we saw that on documentary. But in the case of a horse, they're beautiful creatures that, they have hearts. They care. So the horse goes back to the place where everyone died and sort of was burned down and stuff, and he's looking for his owner. He eventually goes to a cave, and what is it about Lord of the Rings or Middle-earth in general with spiders? What the hell? Every single show has to have some sequence with gigantic spiders. Are there just like spiders everywhere in Middle-earth? Are they trying to just do member berries of like, hey, remember in The Hobbit? Hey, remember in Lord of the Rings? Like, why is every show have to have a spider in it? I don't get it. It's creepy. And I don't particularly like spiders. So I don't want to see them in every goddamn property. They freak me out, man. I don't like it. So the horse goes in there, and the horse doesn't know shit about spiders. They're like dropping on his flanks and crawling on his skin. I'm just like, get out of there, horse. What are you doing? He sees his master like all wrapped up like the xenomorph like stole him and was waiting for a face hugger to come and impregnate him. And then the guy like ends up like fighting his way out. Has this great cool like spider fight, which I actually did really like, if I'm being 100% honest. Don't like the spiders, like the spider fight. And then they pop smoke and get the hell out of there. Beric, so I guess it was in Mordor that he finds Isildur alive. I didn't think they were that close to Mordor, were they? I guess they were in the sort of aftershock of Mordor. So I guess it was Mordor. I don't know. In any case, Beric and Isildur are now heading off toward Pelargir, because that is sort of like a port, a colony for the Númenóreans in Middle-earth. And they're heading on their way there, and they like run across a bunch of like this bunch of the humans who had sworn fealty to Adar, and they got the little like brand, like a little literal brand impressed on them. So they run across some of them. He runs into this girl, Estrid, who secretly has Adar's brand, and she tries to hide it later on in the episode. But she like stabs him in the leg, and I guess there's supposed to be like witty banter back and forth. When he's like, she's all, does it hurt? He's like, no, it's fine. She's like, it's not fine. You got a knife. And then she takes it out. He's like, you're not supposed to take it out. Oh, I took it out. Don't take it out. Is it supposed to be funny? Is it supposed to be witty? Because it was just trying my patience on why the hell is this guy so cool with this girl who just stabbed him in the damn leg, which will that's not a clean knife. They're in the middle of Middle-earth. There's no soap. Like, he's probably going to get an infection and lose his leg or get a staph wound and die, like a staph infection. Like, this is This is not something to wittily banter over. It's something to stab her in the face over. Like, it makes no sense. But I guess because she's a girl, you got to be, I don't know, nice when she stabs you? No. I was always raised. You never raise your hand to a woman unless she hits you like a man, and then give it right back. Like, I know that's not popular. I know people are not going to like that. That's how I was raised. Though I never, struck a woman. It was always in the back of my head that I was told that's the only time it's okay. So I guess you have to then question, well, wait a minute, what is striking you like a man? Because I know a lot of weak men who probably couldn't throw a punch properly. So, like, one of them? Or like an MMA dude that would just knock my teeth out and leave me, like, broken, you know? You got to kind of, gauge these. Anyway, what am I talking about? So they're attacked by wild men who then steal Beric, again taking Beric away from Isildur, but they're all saved by Arondir. And again, I hate Arondir as a character. I hate him with all of my heart. He looks like he should be a Marine in some futuristic sci-fi show, not Lord of the Rings. It doesn't make any sense that he looks like a Marine. I don't know why he looks like a Marine. He's not a Marine. He's an elf. Why doesn't he have long flowing elven locks like every other elf in every other fantasy IP except for this version of Lord of the Rings? It really bothers me, and I don't understand why. But and he's kind of a dick, too. I get he just lost Bronwyn because the actress didn't want to return for the show, and so they have to kill her off screen and burn her body in a funeral pyre. And so he's pissed off at that because he was hoping to get it wet. But that doesn't mean you have to be a dick to the dude you just saved, Isildur, from the Númenóreans who stood by your side the last time you fought Sauron and you gave them extended life because of it. Like, you're kinsmen, practically. You're like half kinsmen, almost. So that just bugged me to no end. He was just being, and I get it, he's hurt, but that being hurt is not an excuse to be a dick. Everyone should know that in life. I get when you're a child, you don't know that. When you're an adult, you know that. This is an elf, so presumably he's lived for hundreds of years. Like, he must know that, right? In any case, he didn't show it. So then Bronwyn's son Theo, who is also massive douche boy number 3, dismisses Arondir's attempts to comfort him and offers to help Isildur steal Beric back. I'll get to the other stuff here in a second. I want to continue with this train of thought. So ultimately, Isildur and Theo, first of all, why Isildur thinks that Theo would be a good person to lead him and help him in any capacity. This boy is clearly fuck all talented. Like, he doesn't have any shred of skill or anything in his whole body. He looks like he sits around and plays PlayStation all day long. Like, that is the body type of this kid who lives in a world where there is no PlayStation and it's just constant work. So why aren't you fit? If you're constantly working from sun to sundown, you would not look like this kid looks. But in any case, so like they go in the middle of the night when the moon is high is what his reference is. Just fucking pretentious writing. And they go to this, what are they called? The Wild Men group. I'm trying to find how they reference it. Well, in any case, Wild Men, I think it is what it is. And he's stealing his horse back, Isildur. But then Theo, like an idiot, walks into camp. Hey, can I share your fire? I'm one of you. Look, I have 3 pock marks on my skin. And they're clearly like, it's not Adar's brand, idiot. What the hell are you doing? Like, I think you jumped us. We're going to kill you. Hey, everyone, let's murder this boy. And then we get this weird scene that doesn't really explain anything of guys just being plucked out of the air, thrown and like picked up and thrown. And then we see Theo get picked up. And you're just like, well, by what? Is it supposed to have been a troll? Is this supposed to be something like a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? I don't know. They don't tell you. We're just supposed to accept that there's things that can do that. Okay. Why? It's lazy is what it is. It's absolutely lazy writing. So we also get this like sort of flashback of Adar's camp in Moria, this is so freaking dumb, of the orc going, so we could really just live here in peace Adar, why do we need to go fight anywhere else? And if I was Adar, I would be like, well, Orc, it's because of the reason you were created is to follow my orders and die on the sword of our enemies. That's what you exist for. You're not an individual. You don't have individual rights. This is not a democracy. I'm the evil lord and you are my henchman. So shut the fuck up and go do my henchman duties. Like, that's it. And then we get this scene of him going to his, like, orc wife with her orc baby. Like, what? What? It's the most ridiculous thing ever. And then we see this troll come wandering in. Where's Sauron? Here's what I don't understand. Sauron is the understudy of Morgoth, a god. You cannot kill Sauron. He just cycles around and comes back, no matter what. So why does every bad guy in this show think that they can kill Sauron? It doesn't make any sense. You can't. He is going to rule you all. That's what his whole thing is. He even creates a ring to do it. Like, that's his shtick. I don't understand why a troll would think that he can take care of Sauron and then he has some grudge against him. You're just going to end up serving him, ass. Why are these writers trying to convince us that there's bad guys, but then there's like really bad guys? And so the bad guys aren't really bad guys. They're just misunderstood bad guys. And they're really going to kill the really bad guys. Give me a break. First of all, I don't know why people think Lord of the Rings is like this deep, granular fantasy world. It's just good versus bad. That's literally all. It's the most fairy tale, simplistic, even like religion. It's just God versus Satan. And that's it. All the bad guys are dumb. All the good guys are idiots. And the good guys just happen to have enough to eke out a win in the end. That's the whole of Lord of the Rings. So I don't understand why everyone puts so much care and concern into this universe of Tolkien's creation. But even if you did, is this what you're happy with? Is this are these writers fans of the content? Because if they are, why are they writing it like this? And if they're not, why are they writing it? Full stop. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense at all. We get this great scene with Durin and Celebrimbor and Durin's wife. Her name is Disa, and which I actually really like their relationship together. I think it's fun. But basically, Celebrimbor is like, "Hey, so we want to make some rings for you. We just need some mithril, so hook it up, yo. We'll make the rings for you, but it's going to cost you a lot of mithril, but it'll also solve all your problems." Anytime anyone says something they have will solve all your problems, they're lying to you right to your face. And you're stupid enough to believe it. In this particular case, Durin doesn't, but his wife insists he brings it to his father anyway. But then we get to see Anatar walk in. He's well out of his depth with Durin. He doesn't know this dwarf. He has no understanding about how elves actually interact with each other, or how an elf oh my gosh, why can't I remember his name? Oh, wow. I can't remember his name. Well, how Durin's friend would respond to him. He has no idea. So why is he trying to bluff it? He's like, well, I was told that you're the most reasonable dwarf ever. They said that you're such a wise and intelligent dwarf. And he's like, you're a lying motherfucker. Just not buying anything that Sauron is saying when he's posing as Anatar. And I loved that so much because Durin's, he's a bullshitter himself. He's not going to put up with someone else's bullshit, especially not Sauron's. He's not going to do it. So don't even try, Sauron. You're just showing your ass, and it ain't pretty. You got a bunch of pimples. You got a weird bruise on one side. You got some weird thing going on. You should probably get that mole checked out. It's probably cancerous. Melanoma. It's a problem. In any case, Disa is arguing with Durin, hey, you need to bring this to your dad. And he's like, yeah, I would, but my dad's a dick and he kicked me out. She's like, I don't care. This is the right thing to do. Stop being an idiot and do the right thing. He's like, oh, I'm fine. So yeah, this great scene where he like sort of humbly goes up to his father, and he's just like, look, I'm sorry. He's like, I shouldn't have said what I said. I shouldn't have done what I did. But I thought I should also bring this information to you. And it ended with, in the end, Durin actually like bringing Mithril to Celebrimbor, which was very surprising to me. Did not see that happening. I mean, of course they had to, because otherwise you don't have rings. But like, it was just, I don't know. I didn't think the king would do that. What else do we have? Oh yeah, and so there it's the Muriel's coronation of being the queen, and Pharazôn, her cousin, is like sort of just trying to rule her and trying to sort of have power over her, and she's just pushing him away. She goes and looks for the Palantir, and it's missing. It turns out that Elendil's daughter had already stolen the Palantir, and they're using it as like, see, she's not qualified. She uses an elven relic. You're all Numenorians. You have extended life because the elves gave it to you. You all are benefiting from elven like grace. Why is it a bad thing that she's using a thing that they created? How is that a bad thing? You're all literally infused with elven life. Am I the only one that thinks that's weird? It doesn't make any sense. You would be friends with them because they prolonged your existence. You wouldn't be like, elven bread? Patu. No, you'd be like, oh, nom, 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 nom. The Swedish chef just throwing it, the cookie monster, throwing it in your mouth. Anyway, that I just don't believe that at all. And then she like brings it out during the coronation and like throws it on the ground. It doesn't shatter or anything, which I really thought it would. It just sort of rolls down, and this giant eagle comes flying out and like perches on the balcony, and everyone thinks that Pharazôn is like a signal that they should worship Pharazôn, and Pharazôn should be the king. And they're like all chanting his name. I was waiting for that eagle to tear Pharazôn apart. I really thought he was going to. Like, he is such a shitty character. You just cannot believe that it's like Trump being elected the first time. You just cannot believe a clear shyster like that, a clear loser like that could ever possibly be president. But there's enough dumb people in this country that voted him in, and enough dumb people that are going to try to vote him again. And he's not going to get it, but they're going to try. And so it's the same thing with Pharazôn. He's clearly a piece of shit. And you're just going to, like, and it's a king. It's not a democracy. They're just going to let him usurp the crown because an eagle didn't eat his face off. All right. If that's your bar of leadership, that and weird eyebrows, apparently. So strange, dude. So yeah, I don't get it. I don't get what the hell they're doing with this show. And the little minute, moments that, like sort of inner character reactions that anyway, it doesn't matter. Like that's not enough to make me like this show. And it's not enough to make me hate it either, but it's just like, meh. I just don't have a real care. And I'm wondering why I keep doing this to myself. So my most favorite moment had to be that, like the Queen Regent hugging the woman who just lost her son in that battle, and the horse, like the horse going to find his owner. I love that stuff. When you see like animals waiting at the door for their owners to come in, or like sitting at their graves. Oh, so devastating. Shit like that gets me. I like animals, so. Seeing that in this show, just sort of tugs at the heartstrings. It has nothing to do with the show. It's just they're trying to connect with you. And then my least favorite was the rest of the show. I don't understand the choices. I don't understand the direction. It all feels weird. And that's from someone who doesn't have a connection to the mythology. So how could anyone with a possible connection to the mythology actually like this? Like, it would baffle me. I'm curious. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Again, I'm not going to review it I'm not going to rate it because I don't think they're really good enough to rate. But I will continue reviewing them because I am clearly a masochist and I am my own sadist. So what are you going to do? All right. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode or this season or this show in general. You can always leave a comment, or if you're watching live, just throw a comment in chat. I always appreciate it. Until next time, always remember the evil spelled backwards is live. So get out there and be evil.